William, good evening. Thanks very much for your time. Well, we'll come to expect this every year. Yes. People like fares go up. But was it necessary?
Absolutely. It is unfortunate. Once a year, 1st of June, we push up our prices by CPI. And that is just to take into account the fact that CPI has grown by that amount in a year. And if we don't do that, we'll fall behind because our costs grow at CPI, or even in many cases, CPI plus. So it really is just keeping at the same pace as CPI.
Well, I'm sure you would have seen by now commuters not happy at all.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a commuter. On the 1st of June, I'm going to pay an extra 28 Rand on my weekly pass. It does hurt, but I do know that that train will get me to and from work every single day with that same reliability. So I think we match our prices with a very, very good service offering for you.
But what do you think it'll do? Because politicians and public service bureaucrats keep talking to us about this integrated transport system where you're able to move one form to the other with ease, but with prices that keep going up and up and up and up. I think a lot of people will lose hope in that system, that we will ever get to that point.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it's a pricing issue. I think our real challenge is making sure that integration works physically. Our challenges at the moment is that people have to get from home to work using 2 or sometimes even 3 modes. And it's really important that a train meets a bus or there's a minibus taxi that's available when the train arrives on time. And that's where, as a province, we're taking an initiative and actually setting up a transport authority to say, look, there's lots of operators in the province. Yes, the metros run their own systems, they're private operators, but let's coordinate this through a transport authority. The Western Cape has done it. It looks like that's been successful. So I think it's more about setting up those kind of institutional and physical arrangements and getting that working first.
Have you explored proper relations with Metro Rail, for example?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we have a range of stakeholders. Metro Rail is a key one. We really are working together in terms of saying when their new rolling stock comes fully operational, how do we make sure that we at our stations, at our 3 or 4 stations, integrate that passengers can actually move seamlessly from the one service to the other. And we also have ongoing engagements with the metros, with the bus operators. So we as a Gautrain agency are really doing our best. What we're looking for is just, I think, that umbrella body where all the operators can get together under one system, I guess, and make it work for the commuters in a much better way.
But I mean, Metro Rail is miles, behind you when you look at infrastructure and what you are able to do. But are you convinced that with the arrival of their new rolling stock, suddenly you will be able to find one another?
It's hard to say sudden, but I think the best way to put this is that if we don't take public transport very, very seriously as a country, and in Gauteng in particular, Gauteng by 2037 is going to be a congestion nightmare. So, and that's the challenge. We've got, I would say, 15 to 20 years to get this absolutely right. And the new PRASA rolling stock, the Metro Rail rolling stock, is an important first step. It's not the last. It's not the last. There's a whole range of other projects, investments that need to be made to make this work.
How far are you with your expansion plans to the other areas of Johannesburg and Tshwane?
Yeah. So we're still very much in the planning stage. We've started a process called route determination, which is where we stop drawing lines on maps and we start doing the detailed environmental studies, making sure that the rail line actually can run on those in those areas. And that will be followed by a public participation process starting in the second half of this year. So expect some news in that regard.
Any initial thoughts as to how much it may just cost you?
So one lesson I have learned is never, ever put your head on a block with a cost before you know exactly what it is. Everyone will remember, I think, 2004, 2005, the then MEC of Finance said Gautrain would be 7 billion. and it wasn't 7 billion. So I'm gonna reserve not to answer that question right now. Thank you.
Okay, that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks very much for coming through. William Dux was the Chief Operating Officer of the Gautrain.